Hello students. In the last lecture we have discussed about the pancreas and liver opening into the duodenum, the first part of this small intestine. Small intestine's first part is duodenum, that is 25 centimeter only. But the next part, that is the jejunum. Next part, that is jejunum. Remember, this is the part which is a little broad one as compared to the duodenum as well as from the ileum also, and it is about 2 meters in length. 2 meters in length. Maximum digestion take place in the jejunum only, right? We also call it as ultimate digestion take place inside the jejunum. It is about 2 meters long. Second part, 2 meters long. Second part of small intestine. Don't forget that, okay? Now, there are many different kind of enzymes are secreted in the jejunum. They collectively called as the succus entericus. Succus entericus. Remember once again, there are bundle of enzymes which are secreted in the jejunum, and these are collectively called as succus entericus. Because of these collective enzymes, the ultimate digestion take place in the jejunum. For example, let us discuss one enzyme I'm talking, peptidase. Peptidase. What is the function of peptidase? It is one of the enzyme of the succus entericus. Peptidase breaks the peptide into amino acids. Amino acids. So one of the enzyme from the succus entericus, remember that. Then we have sucrase. Whenever ACE word comes, it means it is an enzyme. Sucrase, as the word says, it breaks the sucrose. Sucrose is one kind of the sugar only. So sucrose is broken down into glucose and fructose. Both are sugar, but simplified sugar. In the same way, maltase, another enzyme is maltase. This maltase breaks the maltose. So maltase is an enzyme, one of the enzyme of the succus entericus, which breaks the maltose basically into glucose and galactose. Right? This way many enzymes are present in the jejunum, which collectively called succus entericus. These are few examples. Ultimate digestion take place inside the jejunum. Remember that. It is about 2 meters length, coiled broad structure of the second part of the small intestine. First part we already have discussed, that is duodenum, in which liver and pancreas pour their secretion. Now, we'll discuss the third part. Third part of small intestine is ileum. Ileum is the longest coiled part. Right? It is very narrow. It is very narrow and highly coiled structure present in very small region. I am making it very simple so that you can understand. So jejunum is opening inside the small intestine, which is the longest part, about 5 meters in length. It is about 5 meters in length. What is the part's name is ileum. The third part of the small intestine is ileum. It also has small structures, finger-like projections. We'll be making that also. These are called as villi. Villus is the singular and villi is the plural word. This is called as ileum. Again, the third part of the small intestine. I'm not making a very coiled structure, so the diagram should be simple, you can understand. It is about 5 meters in length. What does happens in ileum? The third part of the step of the nutrition is absorption. Absorption occur inside the ileum. Remember that ileum is a part which is covered from outside, surrounded by many capillaries. Many blood capillaries are surrounding in it. So digested food coming from the jejunum enters into the ileum. These are the villi structure. What are these? These are villi structure, finger-like projections, which are present inside the ileum. It move to and fro, by which it increases the surface area of the villi, and digested food is coming out from the villi wall, this ileum wall, and diffuse inside the blood capillaries, or you can say blood. So moving of digested food from the ileum into the blood capillaries is called absorption. So absorption does take place in the ileum. Remember that. Okay. Now let's make the structure of villi also to understand. A villi is an extension of the wall of the ileum. Extension of the wall of the ileum. Now remember, this villi structure is having one of the largest lymph vessels in it. Lymph vessels in it, and it is containing a milky material in it. Because of that, the name of this lymph vessel is given lacteal. Lacteal. Okay, and it is also surrounded by many of the blood vessels. So villi help, these vessels also help in absorption of the food material, digestive food material. Villi move up and down, to and fro, and this way it help in absorption of the digested food into the bloodstream, and this blood capillaries which are present in the villi also help in absorption of the digested food. So this is blood capillaries. Blood capillaries. So only a structure of villi or villus also can come for 2 marks. Okay. So digestion and absorption. Now the third step has occurred. Now whatever we eat, whatever humans eat, never got digested. There is some part always remain undigested. That some part undigested food or fecal material is then sent to the large intestine. How to make a large intestine? First, draw a dotted line. Draw a dotted line here. Making a diagram is an art, so practice is required. So first, we are making the first part of the large intestine. Now, this outer structure should be made like this, from outward to inward, and inward also should be made like this. This way you will get a structure which is basically large intestine. The first part of the large intestine is, this is the part called as colon. Now give a little bit the extension inside the colon. That way it is going to give you 3-dimensional structure, a folded structure. It is highly folded muscular structure of the large intestine, which is called as a colon, the first part. At this end there is about 8 to 9 centimeter triangular shape pouch-like structure, and then another extended structure is there. This is called as cecum and appendix. Cecum and appendix. Remember that. And this is colon. The part which is moving up is called as ascending colon. And which is moving transverse, so it is called as transverse colon. And which is descending is called as a descending colon. This colon opens into the third part, which is basically a triangular muscular part, which is called as rectum. Let's make it more clear. So this colon moves like this, and then it forms a triangular structure. Now this part of the colon which is joining with the rectum is called sigmoid colon, and this is rectum. Rectum is a triangular muscular part which opens into the opening called as anus. Once again, so there are basically, we can see there are three basic parts. One is the cecum, then the colon. Colon can be further differentiated into ascending, transverse, and descending, and sigmoid colon, which opens into the muscular part called as rectum, which opens into the opening called as anus. Now, undigested food. This is the cecum part which is joining with the ileum part. So undigested food enters into the colon. What is the function of the colon? Colon have presence of bacteria called as E. coli, Escherichia coli. These are friends of us, right? They actually, what they do? They actually convert or decompose the fecal material. They decompose the fecal material and develop vitamin A and K inside the colon. Correct? And secondly, the wall of the colon is very muscular, which actually do the churning work and absorb water from fecal material. Right? When the water is being also absorbed, the bacteria actually decomposes the fecal material present in the colon. Then thick, dry fecal material is stored in the rectum for some time. When the impulse is created, we make a posture, specialized posture, by which we pushes the fecal material outside the body, and that is called egestion. The four part. But assimilation, where does the assimilation take place? When in the ileum, the digested food is absorbed inside the blood. Blood takes this digested food to the every cell. Blood is a transporter. It takes the food to every cell, where the digested food actually goes into the cell and becomes the part of the cell, where it is utilized for repair, growth, and production of energy. That part is assimilation which takes place in the cells, not in the digestive system. So last part, egestion, is taken out from the rectum, and then to anus. From anus, fecal material is thrown out of the body, ejected out from the body. That's called egestion. I hope this whole sum is the digestive system you must have understood and must have taken the clarity about it. I feel it is clear. If some questions are there, you can push that question into my questionnaire column. Okay, I hope it is clear. Take care. Bye-bye.